Friends, it is Chaos Zero Nightmare launch day. In just a few hours, the game will go live and I will be live streaming it, so keep an eye on my YouTube page for that. And this morning, or last night, whatever, there was a live stream, Japanese live stream, and it was packed full of content. It was about an hour and 40 minutes long, and I wanted to briefly cover it. I want to give you the Cliff Notes version of it and give you the most important information. Now, I will say that most of this was centered around just kind of basics of the game. What is it? Which is what you would kind of expect coming into a live stream before launch. But there are a couple key moments that I'm going to skip to here and show you. That way you don't have to watch the hour and 40 minutes. And frankly, these are the parts that I think are the most important. I want to keep this video super short. So first of all, they get into Haru, who is our first limited summon that you can, try to go after when the game launches on her own banner. And I'm going to start playing this because this is a very nice combat preview of her kit, what it looks like, what she is like in battle. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up some, other screens from their Twitter, which gives some, demonstration of her powers, kind of talks about what her kit is like. But the big thing that you really kind of want to know about her is she is just a heavy hitting striker. She's blue element. And so she's going to be good against anything that, carries that weakness affinity. And with this, she is kind of an expensive character to play. You'll see on her cards quite a bit where the costs go up. And really, you want to pair her with people that are either giving you good action economy by giving you back action points or allowing her to cast her abilities with things like Celestial. But she looks really cool and very bouncy as this game goes. And I think her animations are pretty neat. And she can definitely bring some serious damage down on the enemy. So one to look out for. Do I think that I will pull her? I don't know. I'm actually waiting until I get in the game and can really read her kit and think about how I want to synergize her. They show her with Mika here. I think that's a very smart pairing because she's going to give her back action points, allowing her to cast her abilities more frequently and at a kind of like a reduced cost because you're giving yourself action points back. So she's our first. Lots of previews for her out there already. Keep an eye on her. And again, we'll kind of have more of a should you pull later on once I'm in the game. It can kind of figure out a bit more about where I would synergize her and all her different card effects, epiphanies, all the good things that will come. But this is a wonderful preview. So we'll skip past this. The next thing I want to show you, which is something that you're going to be incredibly interested in, is the pulls, the banners. So they did go over some content here. And effectively, they're saying that, hey, there is, your limited Haru banner. We literally just talked about that. And then they have their basic banners. This is like the standard banners. So a couple of things they really go through here is on the limited banner, it's a 50-50. You can see it down here. And they do cover who these characters are. This is Mika and Beryl, I think. And so if you're targeting Mika, you get a good chance of getting her within the 4 stars to get her duplicates going. She's going to be a very strong character to look out for in this game, especially in the early game. And then they talk a bit about this partner banner. The partner banner is if you want to target a specific partner when they're, on this banner, just like a limited. You definitely want to have partners. They're very important to your kit. How much you want to spend on the partner banner is going to depend on, I guess, A, how lucky you are, or B, if you are really focusing down a certain one because you really want to. Maybe you really want to create a certain pairing, or you just like a character design. Always pull for your favorites, friends. But I would definitely prioritize more into getting the full characters, the ones that, have decks, and then think about using additional resources for partners. I still need to see what the economy in this game is going to be and how, I guess, forgiving it is. And that will really address whether or not I think you should go super heavy into partners. We'll have to wait till we get in the game tonight to find out. They also showed this here. This is going to be basically, your beginner banner type stuff. And then here we go. This is the piece I found most interesting out of this. This is your standard banner. And so you're getting a 5-star for every 70 pulls. But what this is saying down here is that when you get to 300 pulls, you get to pick a 5-star character. And I couldn't quite tell. Unfortunately, I'm getting, YouTube translating here. I can't tell if it's only these 3 or if there's others that are in the pot. But anyways, you get to get a 5-star character and you get to pick them from some sort of a pool. I didn't see that they addressed if the pool will get bigger over time or if the pool refills or if it's one and done. If I relate this to, say, Persona 5X, you got to a 300 and then you get a selector of a set of characters that first came with the game. That never got added once later. So like other characters that go into the pool never got added to that 300, and it's a one and done. You hit 300 and it's over. So we still need to get into the nitty gritty, the terms and conditions once we see the banner. But at the very least, you are getting to pick a 5-star when you get to 300, which would certainly help you round out your roster. Beyond that, they talk a bit also about like the partner standard banner here. Same thing. You get to 70, you get a 5-star. I don't see anything about a 300 selector here, which is unfortunate. I'm not sure why they wouldn't also give it to you there, or maybe they just don't expect you to go through that. Much of the rest of this information I think is worth covering here. This is just talking about like what her, fancy design cards look like when they get animated. I'm forgetting what the name of that is. And then they go into more about her kit. We already kind of talked about this, but basically she's just a big heavy hitter. She's going to do some real damage. I won't go over her teams. I think we'll theorycraft teams for her later on, especially as we kind of get into the game. And then they're showing, the new modes, and this is where you're going to use her in her mode and kind of focus down her story and see what, her story is all about. I'm glad that that's coming with launch. And then the other piece I wanted to talk about comes more towards the end. So with the launch, you've probably seen this on Twitter on their page. We are getting this 4-star given to us. I think her name is Amir. We're getting different gem rewards. We've also already seen that with the developer notes, and for being number 1 on the iOS store, we're getting additional rewards for gems. I believe it was like either 800 and 300 or 500 and 300. Check their Twitter. They have all the amounts, and I'm sure if there's more, they'll launch them there later today. But these are additional pulls and resources that you get just for logging in. You're going to get them in your mail as far as I can tell. They talk about VTubers. I'm going to skip past that. I'm not a VTuber, but CZN, if you want to get me to live stream and promote me, please do. I am officially a content creator now for them, so let's do it. And then we'll skip past all this. Again, this is stuff that I don't think you necessarily need to worry about. We get to the end and they're going to show the rewards, and this is going to be the 200 pulls. And here we go. So this is the 200 pulls. This, it says, basically throughout the content. So it's not a set of mail you're getting on day 1 with all of these rewards, but basically it's 45 of the premium and 155 of the standard. So it's not, 200 super premium pulls, but it is a few. So you're getting, 45 sitting there on the side over here. You can see the number right there. So I think of all the information covered in the hour and 49 minutes as I look through this, the big things to recap: Haru's coming out. She's your first limited banner. She is going to be a heavy hitter. She's a striker. So if you really are interested in her character, she looks like she could be strong, but we will assess her cards once we get into the game. The banners themselves, you've got her limited. It's got a 50-50 on it. You've got the standard banner, which will allow you to pick a 5-star once you hit 300 pulls. We do not know if it refreshes, but hey, you know what? Free 5-star character when you get there. Partner banner also has a 70 threshold to get a 5-star, same as a standard banner. And we're getting a bunch of rewards and a free 4-star character. Honestly, not a lot of surprises in here from what I have seen within the stream, but a little bit of juicy information to get you going right before launch. So that's the heavy hitters. My friends, until the live stream tonight, if you're watching this before, or the live stream tomorrow, or our next video, please take care of yourselves.